Ladies and gentlemen, it is Morokai with 2 eyes. We're back on every single Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, 7 a.m. on Spotify and 4:30 p.m. on YouTube. We're back with our good friend Alex, who has a bit of a crazy high school story where I think social media took over for you, and you weren't even involved. So, look, we hyped it up the last episode, so I can't wait to just get back in. Long story short, do you want to set it up, mate?
I would say I would just say, long story short, our friend Alex rose to some social media stardom overnight without even knowing it.
Yeah.
Which is the best way.
Yep.
Unless, I guess, you're just not prepared for it. You know?
What was it?
So
Alex Fro for PM or something?
Yeah. Massive.
Yeah.
Massive page. A lot of following, a lot of traction.
When you first saw that, did you get annoyed or did you just think this is stupid? I'm going to leave? Because it would have had something like 10 likes when you saw it.
Yeah, just stupid. What is it? I mean, I reported it because, no.
Yeah.
But
did you report it?
Oh, yeah. Snitch. I reported it every single time. It got brought up four different pages with another iteration every time.
He just kept going
for PM1, for PM2. He just wouldn't give up.
Can we quickly talk about this?
He would also. No, it's funny because I have my own incidents with this person as well.
I think everyone does.
Yeah, because I wasn't at school for I think maybe 2 days or something like that, and because I've got eczema, he then came up with something that I had something wrong with my liver, and I was in hospital because of it, and that's why I wasn't at school. And then I was getting messages saying, "Hey mate, hope you're going well." And coming back to school as well, because I think we're in the same form. Even the form teacher's like, "Oh, Lee, you're back." I thought, and I'm like, "What the fuck is going on?" I have no idea what the fuck you're talking about.
Oh no, you spat my water everywhere.
I remember he was in trouble a lot. Actually, he also had that page where it was someone doesn't say this, and he started putting up the teachers' names as well. And all that, and then he had to get in trouble for that because I was an admin for that. I nearly got screwed over, and I was like, "No, I don't want to do this anymore," because there was notifications left, right, and centre.
I remember when I was on the bus once, and we were in year maybe 11 or 12. I'm on the bus with this girl who's, I think, year 8, and she's sitting next to me and she's talking. I know because it's through a family friend.
Yes.
So it's not the cool conversation that you'd usually have. It's just what have you been doing lately, or what's been going on?
How's mum and dad?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And she's like, "Oh, it's weird. This guy's sending me fake dick pics."
Oh no! Is that with the marshmallow tube?
Yeah, this guy grabbed the marshmallow tube, sent it, pretending it to be his dick, and no one ever knew. And I had this information, and fuck me, like a volcano, I just spread, and I just told fucking everyone. It was so ridiculous. And he's just played it cool. He's like, "Don't know what you're talking about." He actually handles pressure very well. I'll give it to him.
I don't even know if you boys know this part because we were talking at the time, but I don't know if I would have brought it up. So me and our dread-headed friend,
yep,
me and him went overseas, and he gave him a T-shirt made with my face on it and the logo from that page for PM, a T-shirt, and told him wear it at the Eiffel Tower, wear it at the Colosseum. He wanted content. Mind you, we're 20 at this stage.
That page is long gone.
We're also out of school.
that page is long gone.
I haven't seen this kid in years.
Have you spoken to him at all?
Nah.
PlayStation, Xbox?
No.
Oh my god.
No.
That's crazy. Didn't he travel
to Canada?
Canada for a girl?
Yeah, he changed. Yeah, moved to Canada and then did a not safe for work incident. That was his last status that I ever saw on Facebook.
What do you mean?
It was hey guys, if you receive any NSW.
I think I remember the
thing,
Facebook post.
Don't click on it, blah, 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 blah. And then he just, genuinely disappeared.
That's right. Someone hacked his account, got all his dick pics, and started just sending it to his family and everyone.
Which is hate.
Yeah. That is next level hate. So, okay. So, anyway, do we have an idea of what the likes were for that page? Its top it reached?
I don't know. It was only ever you boys.
Yeah, I swear, that's what I meant. I swear to God, it didn't even reach triple digits.
But
it was always stuck in
other people knew it. I remember, I don't know how someone on my friends, because back then Facebook was a lot different, which I actually want to talk about.
Oh, yes, please.
But friends, if one of you boys commented on something and you're my friend, my family could see it. All my friends could see it.
Yeah, it was like the classic if you added a girl.
Everyone that's what I wanted to talk about. A dream. But my Uma, found the photo that he'd photoshopped of me, standing at a lectern in a suit, and she printed it off. Came up to my mum and went, "What's this?" And my mum gives it to me. She's like, "Oh, You didn't tell me about this. What's this? Is this like class president? I'm like, oh, no. A sweet old lady.
All right, I am ready more than ever to go into Facebook and how much it is turned to shit. Before we do, the big incident that we're leading to that happened here was that Facebook page was still up. Every now and then he'd post. It'd be weird. It wasn't consistent, but he'd post it. You'd forget about it, and then he'd post it back up again. Then there was a time where there was a couple in our high school, and the girl was just I don't know her personally, but she just looked awful. And what I mean by that is honestly, she treated him so poorly for someone who was so whipped.
Yeah, yes.
Because I remember the whole story around the school was being like, this guy is whipped to a T. It's just crazy. Anyway, that story kept going on. And then a photo of him, it was like him photoshopped onto a dog and her walking him. Was that it?
I think so.
Yeah, okay. So that happened. Anyway, because that guy that runs the page was involved and must have shared it or used your page, everyone thought you did it. And it got brought up in school because that was bullying. That wasn't cool.
Most definitely.
It was funny, but it wasn't cool.
Most definitely.
Like, it wasn't good. Anyway, you got brought to was it principals or just coordinators?
Just coordinators office.
Yeah.
But like all the senior coordinators for like all of VCE were there.
Yeah. And so it was you. It was also the guy who created the Alex Fro for PM page. Was there anyone else?
I don't actually think he was there. I don't think they'd even gotten onto him yet.
Oh, so they just went for you.
Yeah,
They went
just
for
saw
me.
your name.
They went for me. They went for one of the other boys that we used to hang around with.
Yep, I remember.
One of my best mates
Yep.
to this day, which you've talked about on the podcast, which he does watch every now and again. And
He loves it.
well, he was copping a lot of heat for being a ringleader too, which I don't understand why.
He always got himself involved in stuff, though. He somehow always did.
I think he liked and was
I
commenting.
think he did too.
I don't know. But no one would believe me. And I was like, why would I do this? Like why?
Well, admit it live on
I'm
the show
getting
now.
bullied. Like, just see this whole page? It may have bullied this guy, but the entire page is bullying me. I just don't care. Like, that's the difference.
You don't get it. I'm a chill guy, so that's why I'm not reacting and not getting angry. But now I'm starting to get angry because then there's blame.
Well, thinking back now, like, I remember walking past the couple that he was bullying. I remember the daggers I got, and I was thinking, like, that was a bit weird, like, because they would have thought it was me.
Yeah,
like it's a fair assumption. But no, none of the coordinators would believe me, and like I'm going on this odd tangent about, there's this kid he's not my mate, but he kind of hangs around with me, and like
He's obsessed.
He photoshops me on things, and he's made a page for president, and I don't really know why. But this is what he does, and I haven't liked it. I don't follow it. I report it every time I see it. Like, what more do you want from me? And they're all just sort of looking at me like, what is going on?
I would be a teacher as well. I'd be like, what do you mean this kid like stalks you and just does all this Photoshop? That seems like so much effort.
Well, see, the thing is, like, back then they seemed so old, but they were like 24-ish. Well, some of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
This is the
true,
whole thing.
actually.
One of them went clubbing once and like talked about
He wasn't 24-ish. He had bigger issues, but allegedly. But like thinking back now, like they would have been so young, and like if I'd been in that situation, I was like, what is going on? Like,
exactly.
but it took one coordinator who had taught this kid as well. And when I said his name, he just goes, oh. He goes, you can leave, don't worry about it. Like, he just knew. He'd experienced him. He's like, yep, fair enough, you can leave.
Jeez, that's so funny. So, mate, what's your thoughts on Facebook now? We lived in a time where it was like for an inbox.
It was the Wild West.
Farmville, always getting invites as well.
Farmville, man.
Yeah,
Do you
playing that
Dragon-
racing
Wait, do you
game.
remember
Dragonvale. I do.
Yeah.
I downloaded it about 4 years ago again.
Oh, did you?
It's not the same.
Yeah, no, it's
I missed out on that. I had the first iPhone. Everyone's playing that in I can't even think of not
Study hall.
yeah, study hall. Thank
Study
you.
hall, yeah.
Yeah, study periods. I'm like, I
Well,
wish
now
I could be playing this.
Now, mate, now our attention span's fucked. Back then, I would happily like wait 3 hours for my dragon to hatch
Man, same.
Everyone would, because there's nothing else going on.
Yeah,
Yeah, TikTok and
true.
everything. It's like
That's so
if
true.
I haven't seen action in 3 seconds, this game's shit.
Yeah.
What about Lad Bible and things like that? Have you seen how terrible they've gotten lately?
It's so, but I mean, I don't want to get cancelled, but the whole world has gone like that. Like,
That wasn't that bad, mate.
I could have said way worse. That was tame.
Facebook in general, like, why would they ever get rid of being able to comment on friendship?
Yeah, that was good. That was a golden era.
That was
It
so
was
good.
brutal.
I remembered like you'd accept a friend request and being so quick to try and delete it off your page and like change your settings without a doubt. Always, you just notification. What's going on here? Is this that girl you were talking to? Like,
That's so true. The
Every
one
time.
the one that fucks me up, and I can't remember, so I'm wondering if one of you boys can help me. When did Scene Message
Oh,
get introduced?
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know.
So I
Because I
remember-
don't think we had that for a while.
Not
I
in the
don't
early
think
days.
so.
We did on MSN.
Yeah, MSN did, but not Facebook. Because even I remember growing up, there'd always be like the specific ones in high school, like mates that we had as well, and like, they were always online. Like I swear, like every time I was like, "How the fuck are you on Facebook this long?" Like
Yeah,
no
some
matter
people
when
are
I'm on,
obsessed.
they're on, and I was like, "Oh my god!"
Yeah, some people were on it like
Like we had a mate that we used to go out with quite a lot, and like for that brief period when he was talking to that chick in high school, like he was on it like 24/7.
oh, he didn't get off his phone.
I was like, mate, like what are you doing?
Yeah, no shit.
It was crazy.
Mm.
But no, Facebook's changed for the worse. I completely agree. Just even Instagram's going on a like bad spiral in my personal opinion.
Do you use any socials?
Instagram and Facebook. Facebook, I just mindlessly scroll.
I was gonna say, is it more though because of Messenger that you have Facebook?
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think that's gonna be everyone now.
So you don't use TikTok?
I'm an adult. I use Instagram Reels.
Pathetic. I use YouTube Shorts.
Yeah, and YouTube Shorts. But beyond that, I'm not really on socials. I never really got into Twitter.
Yeah.
Um,
Lee likes Twitter. I'm not.
Yeah,
a
I
big
don't
fan
mind
of
Twitter. It's good for news, like in that sense, like what's happening.
Yeah.
Stuff.
Too bad. That can't be too bad. So what's So what are you doing with yourself now? Like, what's a normal day for you of enjoyment? I know you mentioned fishing before.
yeah, fishing.
Yeah,
fishing,
aside from obviously being in the council going for treasure.
Yeah.
yeah, going for treasure.
Yeah. Mate, that's what you told us before we started, so I don't know why you're laughing at us.
Yeah, I'm also a logger in my spare time.
You can be whatever you want to be.
So just make sure you go for that main goal, treasure.
We want to see you succeed.
But no, it would be fishing is sort of my release. I'm shocking at it.
Mate, it doesn't matter if you enjoy
Yeah, but
it.
it's
That's the
still
main
enjoyable.
thing.
Exactly.
Though.
I like just getting out in nature, relaxing.
Wait, sorry, how can you be shocking at it?
Oh, I just suck at it, man.
The minute you catch it, you cut the reel.
No, I'm not great at casting.
I can appreciate people that do fishing more just from the patience perspective.
Yeah. Oh, it's exciting when you fish. We'll talk about river fishing before. When you fish, do you do the classic? You sit in a chair, kind of hold on to the line, waiting for a bit of a tug, or do you
Just leave it.
Do you just leave it? Because when I used to live and had a river literally in my backyard, I'd throw a fishing rod in with bait, and then I'd just go play PlayStation, come back, and the rod would be bent over.
Yeah.
And then I'd come back. But that's not enjoyable.
True.
So
I mean, it depends, but like we sort of depends on the fishing we're doing, but we sort of just chill with the rods
Couple
in.
beers, sort of thing.
If it's
like-
night time for like gummy sharks or something, we'll have glow sticks on the rods.
Yeah,
Oh,
okay,
nice.
right. That's
And
cool.
so you just sort of sit there talking shit and just watching the tips.
yeah.
And if you see something bend or move, then you jump up and grab it and
Yep.
excitement. But beyond that, it's just
Bit of fun.
a bit of fun hanging out with mates.
Yeah.
Do you still play video games?
I do, but not as much.
It's not as enjoyable as it used to be, is it? Which
I can't
sucks.
play solo anymore.
I agree,
Yeah.
dude. I'm the exact same. Oh my god!
Like I
Sorry.
used to love just RPGs, like, Skyrim, Witcher 3. I'd sit on them for days, but I can't anymore. And then trying to get all the boys together to play something like Warzone
Is impossible.
is super hard because we all work different hours, different jobs.
Yeah. And do you know what sucks with that too? Say you do manage to get everyone on. I've had it before where you get home and it's been all you've been looking forward to, and you're like, finally, like it's been a week and I'm actually going to get to sit down and play like a few hours. You sit down and you're like, oh my fucking God, I'm drifting off. So this isn't enjoyable and you're tired. fucking sucks. What do you think about Henry Cavill in The Witcher getting replaced, going to Superman, and then getting dropped, and now we have a new Witcher?
Has he been dropped from Superman?
Wow.
Did you not know that?
No.
So Henry Cavill
Wow.
I heard he went for it.
Left
for it.
left The Witcher so he can play Superman, got the Superman role, and then
James Gunn came in,
wanted to redo it again.
Genuinely, that's good.
Wanted to redo it again, so they're now doing a whole new Superman that's going to be like very young. So Henry Cavill's now not going to be Superman.
Yeah, but it's
he's
all
not
good
going
because
back
he's
to
now going to
Witcher.
be he's going to now be in a series that's Warhammer, which he used to love.
Except I was never into like the Space Marines Warhammer.
Oh, okay.
I was into like the Lord of the Rings Warhammer because
Yeah,
I loved Lord of the
understandable.
Well, they got the Hemsworth brother is now going to be playing.
Rings. Yeah, bloody Liam.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're not good.
I don't
not
like
good
it.
Hemsworth.
Yeah.
Like,
Did you like the Witcher series when it came out?
I loved it. I'm the sort of person though, I get attached to actors in those roles. So when they switch it up, like even with House of the Dragon, have you boys watched House of the Dragon?
No, but I did smash out all of Game of Thrones. Do you know how I never watched it through high school?
Yeah.
Yeah. I said, what do you mean trash? You loved it.
Yeah, dude,
Last two
bullshit.
seasons?
Oh, no,
you
no,
talked.
no, he's on. I'll admit that there.
'Cause
The only reason I watched it was because there was so much shit talked about the last season that I went, how have I heard of it? Like, people are having watch
Dude,
parties
all
for
it
this
was
show
in
all
high
the
school
time.
for us was like around a table because I never watched it, and I used to get not teased, but like, well, that's like you're an idiot. Why don't, and I'm like, it's just not for me, and that's all you went on about was that.
Yeah, you
and the
were
reason why I
obsessed.
wouldn't watch it is because it was getting every single day. I was this happened at the Red Wedding. I can't believe this person, and I'm like, what do I need to like? You're telling me what's happened. I don't need to watch it.
Nah, I specifically watched it because I heard the last season was so shit, and through high school it was just nothing but praise. So I was like, what did they fuck up? So when I smashed it in 2 months, I realised what everyone was talking about.
They caught up to the books.
Yeah.
And so then it was just trash.
Then did they kind of have to guess? Like, was it like a bit of guesswork because they caught up to the books? Was then it's like, shit, the next book hasn't been written. Like
Yeah,
now
they
we're
took-
going to
well,
have
they
to
took a new
just
direction.
yeah, okay.
I think George R.R. Martin sort of helped them and told them his plans, which he still hasn't written that book, by the way. And he's an old, very unhealthy man. He needs to finish the books. Like, but I think I've heard anyway, getting into conspiracies, that the two like producers or whatever they are, were getting offered other deals.
Yeah,
other
Star
things.
Wars.
Was it Star Wars?
Yeah, it was for Star Wars.
So they were kind of like they needed a lot more than 2 more seasons to wrap up all the storylines and all like the vision prophecies and stuff. And they're just like, nah, like this is our shot, we're out. Like,
I heard that too. I heard that the writers were getting ready to plan like massive seasons because there's a lot that needs to be explained. There's been like 7 seasons of a massive story with so many payoffs, not just one. And then the writers got a role in Star Wars, and they were like, "Oh well, shit! It's Star Wars. This is Star Wars.
Yeah,
mate.
like,
let's
you're not.
wrap this up quick and go on to that." So, no, I heard the same too. What's All right. Well, I'm interested. What's your favorite show of all time, or what are you currently watching?
hard to say, really.
Hard to say.
Hard to say. I guess I was watching House of the Dragon, and I did really like it. So that was my point with like the actors changing. Usually, I'm really against them switching actors for the same characters. But in this, they did a time jump.
Okay, right, following.
And so when I heard that, I was like, oh, like I was already a bit off it. But I'm like, I'll see how they go. And then the first like couple episodes, the actors and actresses were so good. Like they were nobodies, like no like famous people. And they killed it. And I was like, when they do this time jump, I'm going to hate it. Like I'm going to hate that they've changed the actors. And then it happened. And to their credit, the second older actors killed it as well.
Yeah, shit.
And so it was one time where I was actually like, this worked.
Yep.
Like, I was okay with it.
Yeah.
But Liam as The Witcher, I don't know if I can do it.
Speaking of time jumps, did you realise straight away in The Witcher they were jumping from timeline to timeline?
Yeah.
You did? Because I feel so relieved that I went online and so many other people didn't realise they were jumping back and forth.
I've heard about
I was
this.
like, I just needed some little Sanskrit text saying this time, because it confused the fuck out.
Yeah. So many people complained about that. But I'd read the first book back then, I think. And the book jumps like that too. Like it scatters about.
Yep.
But I just loved it. And I think Henry Cavill was perfect because he was such a big fan of like The Witcher.
Itself,
was
so like then
Yeah.
it helps play the role.
He was such a nerd about it,
He was a massive nerd about it.
which is not fair because he's a nerd. He's hot. He's buff, rich.
True.
Like,
Yeah,
come on, man.
True, he's got it all.
Yeah. Not soon to be treasurer, though.
No.
Do you think, out of curiosity, do you think Henry Cavill ever went through maybe like an emo phase?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, like
All the best did.
oh.
Tell us about yours, mate.
I didn't have an emo phase. I don't know. It's not a phase.
Oh, I remember that. You had the cool. I remember saying to someone once,
To be fair, the hair was cool.
I
Like, the
thought
look was
you had
awesome.
the coolest hair.
Yeah,
I tried to do
same.
it at home and it never worked the same. It was so
It's
bad.
always like the what was it? Like the fringe across with like
very
the back,
long fringe
with the
in
back
front
up.
fringe. Bit of tips in the hair.
I don't think early on I had tips. Our other mate had the big tips, which looking back at photos back then, I remember looking and be like, oh yeah, it's kind of cool. But like looking back now, it's like, holy shit. Like, and even at myself, like, I don't know. But yeah.
Yeah. What was the worst and your favourite thing about high school?
My favourite thing was that you saw your mates every day
Yep.
Agreed.
and like you just get up to random shit.
Yeah.
The worst, I don't know, probably having to decide what you want to do with your life. You know,
Yeah, as the years goes on, it gets more and more serious. You're like, come on, relax. I just want to fucking do woodwork. And
like
just chill.
I've ended up working for Jim's Mowing, but that's not like I had no idea that's where I wanted to go. If that makes sense.
Nope.
No, I think I sort of agree though. Like, I feel as a younger kid, when you grow up in primary school, it's always like, oh, I want to be like a firefighter, or like,
Yeah.
like that sort of stuff. Then sort of high school comes around, and you're like, you know what, I want to be like a tradie and stuff like that. And credit, like I'm so jealous and envious of the people who know what they want to do.
Yeah.
Because even me to this day, I'm still like I've changed my job now, and all that, which is awesome. But I'm still like, I have no idea what the fuck I want to do. Like realistically, as long as the income's like livable, and I can make a future, like
As long as you're not hating what you're doing.
Yeah.
When you'd be good to talk about this. I remember when you left high school, you went and did uni. That uni course, did that ever are you using that now?
Yeah, so that
You are. Okay.
sort of.
Because part of me, I always remember you were doing it for a while, and then halfway through you went, I'm out. And then a thing we were talking about was like Hexstat and
Yeah.
like how that chases you for a long time.
Which I've still got that.
So you've still got that. Yep.
Well, that was another big thing when I was looking at buying my house.
Yeah.
Is they don't treat it super badly because it's not like a normal loan. But I think even then, so the Jim's Mowing, I make a bit more so it pays off a bit quicker.
Yep.
But it's still like in the 30 grand.
shit.
Oh, at the moment. Yeah.
Back then, like maybe a year ago.
Yep.
And I was shocked by that because I didn't know how much was in there because I just ignored it, you know.
Yeah, as
a
you-
little
I
bit comes
guess
out of
you
your
sort of
pay.
would.
Yeah, like a little bit comes out of your pay, every pay packet, and you just think, oh yeah, it's going down because it doesn't have the same sort of interest rates. But I think it has like, I don't know what it's called, maybe indexing or something. It does go up as the economy goes up.
Yep.
Which again, that's another.
So it was never really on the back of your mind? Like it was...
It sort of was, but I just didn't really think about it. Like we've got a friend, and she paid hers off in full when she went.
Holy shit.
You guys know her. One of the three girls that we were friends with.
Hey.
But I don't know. Her outlook was just get it paid and out the way. You know, done. No interest
Yeah,
or
okay.
anything, which wasn't a bad idea. But one of our other mates, our dreadheaded mate,
Yep.
like he's studying to be a doctor. He's
Yeah.
still studying now. Like what,
Shit.
we're coming up on 10 years nearly.
That's
Yeah,
crazy.
it's massive.
Yeah,
So he's still
And-
doing that.
yeah, he's still studying.
I thought it was going to be chemist, not a...
No, so because I don't think he got. So I think I could be completely wrong, but I think with medicine you have to have another degree before you can go into medicine.
Yeah,
yeah,
right.
okay.
So he studied science, I think.
Yep.
And like he was lecturing at unis and stuff. Like he nailed it. And now he's studying medicine. But like his hex would be at the end of it. over 100,000, I reckon.
Jeez.
But
And
he'll-
imagine you don't make it. Like, imagine you get right to the
I
end.
think
and
that's what
fail.
always scared me with uni is more the stories of like people who are doing uni, maybe halfway through, like getting through, like realizing they don't like it or they finish it, but then there's like no actual jobs in that field. So like, yes, you got the qualification, which is awesome, like you've done, but then it's like, or
have
like
to
once you get
travel,
to, or even getting to the end of the uni, you have that degree, you have that like behind you. You're like, I actually don't like that, and then it's like, fuck, like that's such a long period of time that you've spent going to classes, studying exams and all that, that you've now just kissed away. Like when you could have been doing other things, like in that
You're
sense.
spot on, because I've thought about that too. If let's say, I don't know, there was a certain job that's hard to get, and then I go and there's literally only 6 of them in like a 20-kilometer radius. Let's say 50-kilometer radius. And I go and I try to interview for all. A couple don't want me. They're full. They're like, no, we're going to be full for a while. And the other 2 I interview. I'm just not the right fit for the team. And then the other one, I don't know, I screw up or miss out. It's like, what do I do now? Do I need to move? Like, is this... It would be very hard.
Oh, shit, yeah.
To figure out where you go from there next. But him with a big Hexter, he'll be on pretty great money, though.
So, yeah, if he makes it, which he will, I'm sure
Yeah.
he will. I think he might have even passed what he needs to. Like, he's near the end, and I think he's doing great. But say you got to close to the end and then you failed that like final step, you've got a huge debt and you're broke because you haven't been able to work because you've been studying so hard.
Yeah.
Yeah, true.
Like, how do you pay that debt off? But if you do make it, you're a doctor, you make tons.
Yeah.
You're fine, you're good.
Yeah. Yeah, the study part always, I could, for Jim's mowing example, right? If there was somehow some study for that, right? And it was all boring it wasn't the actual work, I could see how some people would be like just really not motivated. Like go home and go, I've got 3 hours of study I'm meant to do, but this is boring me out of my mind, but I know I want to do the practical side. And I would struggle with that.
That sounds a lot like TAFE, like a lot of tradies, though, whenever they have that week of like tradie school or whatever they call it. Everyone's always like, oh, it's so shit here. Like, I'd rather just be on the tools.
Yeah.
And all that, which I could understand. It'd be way more enjoyable than going back in a classroom.
Well, I know our mate that I worked with for a long time, because I was never qualified in the trade or anything. I was just labouring. But he was getting qualified, and he would have to go to trade school once a week, and he would finish like his year's worth of work in like 2 weeks.
Shit.
And he'd be like, this is just a joke. And our bosses were like, this is a joke. You're coming into work. If they have a problem with it, they can speak to me.
Yeah.
And so, like, he'd get calls from the school being like, so-and-so hasn't rocked up today. Just thought you should know. He's like, yeah, I know. He's here. He's working. Oh, but, he needs to do this. He's like, no, you come in. Give me the list of what his competencies need to be. You can come and watch him in the factory. You can tick him off. He can do all that. Like, he learnt your, like, end-of-year test within the first fortnight of working here. Like, I could do that stuff. And I was just a
Shit.
pleb. Like,
Yeah. Yep.
That's crazy.
Speaking of crazy, next episode, conspiracy theories. Mate, what's the big one that's on your mind that you want to talk about so I can hype it up a little bit? Pyramids, because they fucked me up.
it depends how deep you want to go. We go on, like,
Is it the reptilians?
professional sports fixed, or like we're being run by lizards.
All of it. Ladies and gentlemen, that's Morokai to Oz. We'll see you in the next one. Boom.